Hello friends, today I'm going to turn this ever after high Raven Queen doll into Tiabeanie Maria Beanie de la Rochambeau Grunkwitz, or Bean for short, from the Netflix show Disenchantment. Bean is pretty pale and has a widow's peak, so Raven Queen is a good fit here. I'm prepping her as usual. I tied back her hair to try and make it easier to clean up. I used my hairdryer to soften the vinyl of her head and the glue inside. I used pliers to scrape out the plugs and then pull the glue through her neck hole. I used 100% acetone to take off her factory face. I then washed her face with soapy water and prepped it with 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear. I'm using a trick that I learnt from Japanese nailists. You use like a skewer or toothpick and wrap some cotton fluff around it, then dip that in acetone. Then you can get into the really tiny nooks and crannies to get the paint out. Because I wanted to keep Raven's hairline, I decided to root with yarn rather than making a wig. I prepped the yarn before I rooted. I did this in the usual way, by brushing it out and then straightening it. I painted her scalp white before rooting. This is just in case there are any gaps in the hair, so it won't look like she's bald in any places. This was the first time I'd rooted with yarn. I've since seen other people do it, and they usually brush it out after they've glued it, which I think I want to try next time I use yarn. This Raven Queen doll is pretty poorly articulated. Dollightful made an amazing video about how to articulate the arms of Monster High dolls. I've linked it in the description box. Her video is really clear, so if you want to learn how, for sure go watch her video. Rather than using a drill, I used my Dremel tool to create a path between the arms to make sure that they can be held on by an elastic band. Dollightful had the same issue, that it's hard to find an elastic band small enough to be used here. I had to wrap mine 4 times to get it to work. My doll had one arm bent, so I needed to try and cut her arms to the same length. The plastic of her arms was super easy to cut through. This might be different across different brands and maybe between Ever After High and between Monster High. I could make the holes in the plastic by turning the drill bit by hand. I don't have a power drill yet, they're pretty pricey here. I wanted to make the loop parts from stiffer wire so they wouldn't bend back easily, but it was too difficult to make it tight enough for her to be able to hold a pose. I ended up using this purple aluminium wire, which will probably bend back out of shape quite easily. I spent a couple of hours sanding off the bodysuit, and in some places the plastic got so thin that there are small holes in it, especially around the bust. So onto the clothes. I made a pattern for the t-shirt and drew around it on some teal stretch fabric. I cut it out and cut the middle of the back, so I can add Velcro later. I then hemmed the neckline. I cut the sleeves from paler woven fabric. I hemmed the bottom of the sleeves and then added them to the shoulder. Like usual, I sewed all along the side seam and sleeve seam in one go. To make the shoes, I drew around the doll's foot onto paper and then onto Worbla. I saw Hextian using it to make doll shoes and it's such a great idea, I wanted to try it out. Worbla is a thermoplastic that is super popular among cosplayers. I used my hairdryer to warm the Worbla and then pressed it against the doll's foot to make the sole. Then I made a masking tape pattern to transfer onto paper and then onto Worbla to make the upper part of the shoe. I used epoxy sculpt to make the base of the shape of the outside of the shoe. I wanted to try and fake the shoe to look like she's not on tiptoes, to make it look like she's wearing flat boots. Then I used black air drying polymer clay to finish the outer shoe. I lost the footage of the tops of the boots. Again, I used masking tape to make a pattern and then cut it out of fake leather, which I then stuck to the rest of the boot. I used fake leather to make a belt. My intention was to use this little plastic buckle, but actually I lost it in the making process. I used some more of the air drying polymer clay to finish the buckle. I used more Worbla to make the crown and painted it gold. So Bean is always seen with some booze. I made her a little beer stein out of the black polymer clay that I used to add to her shoes. I was trying to figure out what to make the beer from, and then I remembered that Poppin Atelier made bubble bath using the yarn fluff that's brushed out of the hair. I think the effect worked pretty well. Okay, on to the face up. Bean isn't supposed to be a beautiful princess. I read a really cool article about how she's the female hero that we need in 2019, which I'll link below. I wanted to make her some goofy ears, but when I was making this doll, I didn't really have the skills or the confidence. I think she was my second after the Typhoon doll, so this was one of my earliest dolls. I'll come back to her at some point in the future, and I think I'll give her some goofy ears because I really like them when she's in the show. I considered modding her to have real teeth as well, but in the end I just drew them onto her bottom lip and I think they look really cool like that. In all, I wanted her to look kind of cheeky and about ready to get into some trouble. Lucy implies in one episode that Bean has blue eyes. I wanted her looking to the side to look mischievous. I gave her quite a lot of blushing because it's one of the things I love on dolls, but it adjusted her skin tone a little bit more than I would have liked, so I probably should have thought about this a bit more. I don't want Bean to look like she's wearing makeup. Her character is kind of like one of the guys, so I don't think she'd be that into makeup. She doesn't really seem to care about wearing dresses and being cute. I chose to give her white eyebrows to match her hair. I gave her one raised eyebrow to try and make her look a bit more cheeky. I used the watercolour effect of my pencils quite a lot in this face up. using the same colours I blushed her body. As the doll is, Bean's arms keep falling off at the elbow. I mean, they're okay most of the time. Also, the results from sanding off her bodysuit weren't great. I have one more doll that's kind of similar to this, and I don't think that I'll change her arms or sand off the bodice. It's a lot of work, and I didn't get great results from it personally. Because of how poor the results were from sanding off her bodice, I decided to paint on her corset, which is canon, and at least when she's getting married she wears it, because I was thinking about making the wedding dress for her as well, so let me know if that's something you'd like to see and I'll make it. Yarn's texture is just perfect for how Bean's hair is styled. I tried to cut the short bits in front and make it kind of look layered. I think I did okay here. I think it would look even better with her sticky out ears, which I'll definitely come back to in the future. I made her trousers out of brown fabric. I have a tutorial that I made linked here for making patterns and then putting trousers together if you're interested. So here she is. What do you think? Have you watched the new episodes yet? Who's your favourite character? I'm actually not sure if Bean is mine. I thought about doing Elfa and Lucy as well so that I had the trio, because I love how their comedy works together. Would you like to see that? Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more of the Disenchantment characters. I think actually Una might be my favourite character. I just love her lines. She really makes me laugh. Thank you for watching all the way through my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave me a like. Subscribe if you're new here. If you have any tips, tricks, comments, concerns, questions, requests, leave them in the comments or shoot me a message. My Instagram is in the description box, so you can come and see some works in progress over there. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye!